normally a book a week. I'm in the habit of getting this book and reading. But then of course other people would say, well, Johnson, I can always use my phone to get whatever book I want, and that's very possible. And especially this week, I decided to look at a book that a lot of people probably have read. Other people don't believe in it. Other people, well, have read it in bits and it doesn't really matter to them. But for me this week, I felt it does matter to me. And this is just an invitation. If you're able to get the book today and just read something, you don't have to read the whole of it, because a lot of people take a year to read and it's difficult. And I'm talking about the Bible. I think this is one of the most amazing books that I've come to read, and I'm reminded of my aunt, who, you know, just a year before she died, she would call me all the time, and she would sit me down and she would write simple verses of scripture and she would give them to me from the Bible, and that's about 15 years ago. And every time I sit down and I look at the Bible, I remember of this lady who could have told me stories about how she grew up and all that, but for her, she felt the verses in this book were very important for this young person. And sometimes when I look at it, I try to read, not every single day, but the moments I get to read, I realize, apart from my experience, this is probably the greatest book I'll ever leave to my children, especially. That when I'm on my deathbed, I would say, son, daughter, read this book, because this book has really encouraged me. And I would tell you, try reading it. You may not understand it, but with time you begin to see the reality of it. I have seen it in my life. This far God has brought me. When I go back to the book, there's always something encouraging about it. And so this week, if you find time, please read it. And I'd love to know what you think, what you've learned. You can always comment down below and just say, well, this is what I've learned from this book. Maybe I read it some years back, but when I read it this week, this is what happened. So I wish you all the best. Let's meet next time, next week. And I'll be looking forward to your comments.